I think we can be transparent about that. Yeah, we can be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yep. Hi, welcome to Boy Hour.
Round 2.
We had a little hiccup.
Uh-huh.
We are learning and growing from our
Mhm.
mistakes.
Yeah. I received a concerned and very strict sounding email from Aila after filming saying, "Holy God, what is wrong with the audio? This is we can't use this." Wait, no, but it was strict.
It said shame on you.
Yeah.
I'm leaving this podcast.
Yeah.
We're disappointing our fans.
Mm-hmm.
All of the above.
It actually sounded pretty sick though. It was like a remix. It was like
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna make a dubstep remix of our.
So that'll be hitting the Instagram soon.
Yeah, exactly.
No, in reality, Matt just sent me a very earnest apology text, which, it was interesting because, like, on that day, I was, like, waiting for an apology from someone else about a very different thing. And then I got that one from you, and I was like, this suffices. Like, this is one unnecessary apology, kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah, and potentially some restorative experiences.
Yeah.
With receiving some male apologies.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it was fitting that it came just after the therapy episode where we were sort of talking about like you don't just need therapy, like there's other things. And I feel like that was a perfect like real like example.
Yeah.
I could have never gotten that from therapy. Maybe you should start a business. Male apologies.
Maybe I should. Yeah. I should start a service. Hey, if you're interested in, not necessarily I can't make the person that should apologize to you, but if you call, I'll make a hotline where I'll just apologize to you. It'll cost like $2.
That's perfect.
And
you could have different tiers. Like maybe you could just send like a voice memo for some. Yeah. Because then you can kind of like recycle them.
Mm-hmm. And then if you pay the big bucks, I'll make a custom one. And if you pay like $100 or something, I'll cry. I'll sob. I'll be like, I'm so sorry. so
Jessica,
sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's think of some names and back to that idea next time.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about work. Because we all gotta do it for the time being in the society that we live in. And most of the time, it's not great.
Yeah.
It's not how we want it to be. And it's like also kind of the same as it was 30 years ago, but it's not. Everything's different. There's Slack now, but no one's really like adjusted to the new work environment.
Slack, the same people that were in the workplace 30 years ago are still in the workplace.
Yeah.
And
because they're not going to retire.
No. It's like you work a little bit longer and you get a little bit more money. I found this out.
That's crazy.
Like for every year that you work past retirement age, so 65, you work till 66, you get an extra $100 a month from Social Security. And if you work till you're 70, which you shouldn't be, but
it's not good for anyone.
There's a massive monetary incentive to do that because that is an extra $6,000 a year, which is like life changing.
Yeah.
Like that's a car payment.
And if you start working, if you were born after 1990 and you start working when you're 16 and don't stop until you're 70. You'll never get Social Security.
Yeah.
So it's a great system.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, because our
all.
government has decided to borrow money against the money that is in Social Security.
Yeah.
And like it's like that South Park episode. I don't know if you ever watched South Park, but there's this one episode where they're just like, I forget which character goes to the bank and like puts their money in the bank, and the bank's just like, and it's gone. He's just like, what? Yeah, your money's gone.
Oh, God.
Thank you for investing.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it feels, though. Like,
Yeah.
every single day I wake up and I'm like, do I take out all of my 401k? Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It's a little crazy. And timely that we did have to reschedule the filming of this episode because, and that we're talking about work.
Yeah, because we get to talk about the group chat debacle.
The biggest,
Yeah.
like, work fuck up.
The government, like high level government and like billionaire grifters version of Slack is Signal.
Signal.
So they can do nefarious shit.
Which is literally illegal.
Yeah, I know. That's the point.
Oh my god.
It's so they can do insider trading and war crimes.
Just like literally the biggest example of people who are like so incredibly human in their error prone ways, but like lack humanity in their character entirely.
Yeah. Like if you're going to be such a soulless robot, like
be competent.
Follow rules.
Follow rules.
Yeah.
Don't conduct anything over Signal chat. Also, like I feel like it is important that like everyone is like shitting on them so much for this, but also like the underlying bigger issue of the fact that like they are in a Signal chat about like assisting in a larger scale like genocidal attempt.
Yeah.
So like that's the bigger issue.
They're talking about bombing a group of people that is just retaliating for the war on Gaza.
And also talking about how much they hate Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a little side chat shitting on Europe.
Yeah, so we wanted to discuss whether or not this was boy hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the spirit of boy hour is definitely there in a way.
Maybe we should start by talking about what elements of it are boy hour.
Yeah. Like group chat with your boys.
Group chat is obviously a little boy hour.
Talking some smack on Europe is kind of fine.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
It's
definitely.
just the context that it was.
Of course.
Yeah, like
of course.
I'll roast a French guy or something like that.
For sure.
In a group chat,
in general. Yeah. Absolutely. I think the response was pretty boy hour. In that they're kind of like
they just denied it.
Maybe, but also like the fact that they're kind of like sticking together.
Yeah,
like they're like, I'm not gonna like no, like my boy didn't do anything wrong.
Loyalty is boy hour.
Loyalty is definitely boy hour.
Yeah, this is good. We're diving into the gray area that is life and like
is boy hour because boy hour is life.
Yeah,
life is boy hour.
Life is boy hour, but yeah, there's some parts that are definitely not boy hour. Like war crimes are not boy hour.
No. That's like a misrepresentation of boy hour. I think some people would think that like war crimes are boy hour, but like no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Boy hour does not condone violence.
Yeah, boy hour is like we're just, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
We're having a good time.
No one's getting hurt. Well, no, people are sometimes getting hurt, but it's like because they're doing it to themselves.
It's because we're like wrestling or something like that.
Exactly.
Like pillow fights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not drone strikes.
Yeah. Like there's some emotional damage when someone gets fucking owned in Super Smash Bros.
Totally.
But, or like, they try to do a flip and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, war crimes. No,
crimes, not boy hour.
Not boy hour.
The fact that Tulsi Gabbard is in the chat does make it kind of boy hour. I feel like her being like she's the ultimate sort of political pick me. So I feel like the fact that she's like attaching herself to something, like she's the one who's always like, "You're having boy hour? I want to come along."
Yeah, Did she jump in on the roasting of Europe? That would be hilarious.
Oh, she probably did.
Yeah.
She was the main one who had to defend it when they were like in the hearing, and she was like, "It's fine."
Yeah. Oh my God. Trump finding out, like during a press conference. He was like, "They did what?" I haven't heard anything about
It was
that.
akin to the Ruth Bader Ginsburg moment, where he's just like pretending that he hasn't heard that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. Where
I
he's
don't
just
remember that at
it's
all.
just like him trying to convince people that he has no idea what's going on when he clearly does, and he's just
Yeah.
like, "This is the first I'm hearing of this, actually."
Yeah, it's such a pathetic performance, but like,
Totally. And that's not Boy Hour. Boy Hour Boy Hour has a lot more conviction than that.
yeah, you own up to Boy Hour.
Yeah.
I don't like Boy Hour is not something to be ashamed of. And I think
Right.
that's like
That's a good point.
That's
Boy Hour
it-
is not secretive.
no. And so yeah, like you don't necessarily have to tell everybody what's in your your Boy Hour chat, your group chat,
Uh-huh.
but it you should be like okay with being like, yeah, I'm like talking shit with the boys in the chat.
Exactly.
You know, it doesn't have to be shown to the world, but you shouldn't be ashamed of it. And if someone discovered it, it would be like, teehee, you know?
Right. Yeah, you should stand up for it. I think like if it would have been more Boy Hour if when it was outed they were just like, yeah, sorry, we're just boys.
Yeah.
Okay? Like we boy houred a little too close to the sun.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And we won't bomb the Houthis.
we won't. But yeah, they downplayed Boy Hour, and that is what specifically makes it not Spirit of Boy Hour.
Yeah.
I think.
Cringe, guys. Super cringe.
Super cringe.
All right.
Okay, so we've decided, I think, on the whole, not Boy Hour.
Definitely
We can
not Boy
file
Hour.
away the Signal chat debacle as not cool, not Boy Hour, illegal,
Yeah.
morally reprehensible,
And
indicative of much bigger issues that we should be getting just as upset about.
criminally embarrassing.
Criminally embarrassing, absolutely.
Well,
And just not hot, not sexy.
Yeah, not sexy. Yeah.
Ooh.
Boy Hour isn't really sexy though.
No. Not at all. But I think that would make them upset to know that it's not sexy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can't talk about work without me talking about the time that I had a job and I didn't know what it was, and I kept going to it for 2 weeks, and I kept asking what it was and what I was supposed to do, and they never told me. I picked up some like little clues along the way.
Did you only work there for 2 weeks?
I only worked there for 2 weeks because
Yeah.
I couldn't handle, maybe it was a little longer than that, maybe it was 3 weeks, but I couldn't handle the pressure of sitting alone in an office, being paid money to be there, having a title that was vice president of like something, like my email little thing had my title under it that they like gave to me.
Yeah, and you had to find it.
And I had to find it. And then I was like, what does this mean? And I never found out. I went to a couple of meetings. I asked what the meetings were about, what I should prepare for those meetings. They didn't tell me. So I would just kind of like make some like outlines that were about God knows what. And then they'd be like, this is fantastic. What are we talking about? It was deeply confusing. It was affiliated with a university, which is the only reason that I like feel like it wasn't just a front for something really suspicious, but that actually doesn't necessarily negate that. But yeah, I've thought a lot about like, would I handle that differently? Because like there's certain ways that we like avoid confrontation when we're, you know, I was about to say when we're 19, but I was 24. I was an adult. Yeah, I was 24. And would I have handled it differently now? I think the only thing I would have done differently is I probably wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
I would have.
You would have.
Because I think I've now encountered enough situations that are not as extreme as that, but similar enough to where like you start a job and like no one trains you and they're just kind of like make it up as you go along and you're just like, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do, I guess.
You sent me an interesting video about that too. Like the
Yeah,
lack of training.
It's like a phenomenon.
Yeah. No one gets trained for things, and because they're getting trained by supervisors that are not people that are good at training people. And it's like the stuff that's going on in the government where um, it's seen as a waste of money to have someone on staff that is specifically their job is to train people.
Yeah.
But the amount of efficiency and money that you save and get
When people actually know how to do their jobs.
yeah, is insane. And also, but the big thing was like the fact that it's job security for the people in charge.
Yeah, ultimately. Well, and also that it's connected to like a larger sort of theme of like anti-education,
Mm-hmm.
which is just like bonkers that that's even a thing.
Yeah.
People are like, don't educate people. But also makes complete sense when we think about like fascism and autocracy.
Efficiency and like lower spending in like work in general. It's just aggressive late stage capitalism.
Anyways,
Sounds chill. All right.
older people are in the workplace longer than they should be.
Yeah.
As we touched on.
Mm-hmm. And
unfortunate for all of us.
Millennials created a work culture that is very comfortable or we're pushing for more comfort, less stiffness, and also like self-care, which
mental
is
health days,
something that we don't take advantage of in any way. We're incredibly stiff when it comes to communication, and because we see the value in that.
Yeah.
And we don't take our mental health days or sick or
that we
vacation
demand
pay
for
at all.
No.
And resent people that do.
Exactly. Little weird kinky martyrs.
Yeah. Yep.
I think the thing that's like ironic too is that it's not necessarily that those things didn't exist before. They just didn't exist on paper. But
Mhm.
Gen X was clearly like boomers and Gen X were absolutely taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
Like I feel like any person of an older generation that I've worked with is like absolutely taking mental health days, but they're just not saying that.
Yeah.
They're just
taking sick
constantly
days.
like, it's like, oh, Karen's just like, she's running late. She's got an appointment. Like they're always taking off an entire morning for an hour-long appointment,
Mhm.
but they just were being kind of quiet about it, you know?
Mhm.
And I feel like there was this thing of like millennials entering the workforce, working so hard because they weren't like allowing themselves any of that kind of like self prescribed leisure in the
Mhm.
workplace.
Mhm.
They were like adhering to these like ridiculous deadlines that they had set for themselves,
Mhm.
and then like freaking out and being like, we need, better benefits and stuff when it's like,
Yeah.
and then criticizing Gen Z when they actually use them.
Yeah. I think the experience of like growing up, all millennials experienced, the economic like .com bubble popping, the
Mhm.
housing crisis, an entire generation like we all experienced our parents like freaking out about money for a little while.
Mhm.
Um and and then and that's around when we were all entering the workforce, and it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, you gotta fucking grind to live. On top of that,
Yeah, the
n- n-
fear of like losing job security is so much more prevalent for
Yeah.
our generation.
yeah, exactly. And then like Gen Z enters the workplace and invents like quiet quitting, and which is genius, by the way, because there's statistics done on, when you move from job to job, you on average will increase your salary significantly faster than if you stay
Right.
in the same job. And so like they're finding success faster
Yeah.
because they're not as loyal, which is a lesson that millennials figure this shit out. If you're not going any higher in your fucking job, quit and find another
Just
job.
leave.
You
can do it.
use the resume that you
can do it.
you got from that job. You're an invaluable employee, and that's the reason why that place that you're working at right now is going to string you along for fucking forever and never pay you enough.
That was really beautiful, Matt. Thank you. Good job.
I think some people need to hear that.
I think absolutely. Is one of them you?
No.
No, I mean like not you as your past self. I think needed to hear that.
Yeah, maybe my past self, but I also I have a bunch of friends that just are stuck in that, and I know people, a lot of people.
Well, the quiet quitting thing is interesting because I think that Gen Z didn't necessarily invent that. Again, they just sort of like owned it and named it. But I think like if you talk to like most folks, Gen X or like Boomer generation, like that's what they were just doing. They didn't think of it as quiet quitting. They're just like, yeah, I'm only going to work the amount that it takes to like be comfortable.
Yeah.
But they're definitely not like, save for like specific industries, you know?
I feel like boomers are aggressively like loyal to that. Like,
that's true. The loyalty part is different. I think that's what's changed for sure.
My dad, the amount of like every single time I was like uncomfortable with whatever work situation I was in, he was just like, how can you fix the entire company? I'm like, Dad, I don't want to be you.
Dad, I'm a boy.
Yeah. I'm just one man. And also like it's a waste of effort.
Yeah. It's hilarious. All right. Do we want to talk about some frustrations that we have with the spirit of Gen Z, but not particularly Gen Z in particular? Right?
Yeah,
like,
there's the spirit, but the reality is this comes from multiple places and multiple generations. And it's just been lumped onto Gen Z.
They said that they had anxiety about driving to work, which then was giving them a stomach ache, so they couldn't come to work.
My tummy hurts.
Tummy hurts. This was an 8 p.m. Slack message the day before a shift. So I don't appreciate the 8 p.m. of it all. I do appreciate
the day before. Yeah. Like
it was
3 or 4 p.m.
A catastrophic large task that needed to be done that again, of course, I had to do, but
I have anxiety about driving, and
which I do all the time.
Yeah. we all got it, you know?
Yeah, dude, I got anxiety walking out my front door. Okay.
Yeah. I touched a doorknob the other day. Fucking wanted to kill myself. When I was telling a girl to stop talking about microdosing.
A woman?
Sorry, a woman.
Probably a girl though.
Yeah, respect.
Probably a boy.
A person. You know?
Yeah.
We're all just humans.
Yeah.
When telling a human being to not talk about microdosing in the lobby in front of our clients, who are, you know, very young, I was told that it wasn't that big of a deal. And so I had to play the boss card and say, no, this is a rule that you can't talk about microdosing in front of clients.
And she's like, oh no.
You played the boss card.
It's a rule.
She got pretty mad at me. I was
Did she not do it again though? Because it was a rule.
She didn't. Yeah, she didn't. And I had to really get on her about microwaving and eating food in the middle of work when on a hour and a half long shift. It's just like, I'm gonna take
the food politics in the workplace is crazy.
15 minutes, which is about an eighth of the time that I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
To just eat food.
And also to heat it up too.
Yeah.
Wow. So I had a coworker who sent a screenshot to another coworker to like demonstrate a problem that she was encountering, and there was an open Netflix tab visible on her screen.
You gotta, it's like
screenshot.
It's the Subway Surfers generation.
Yeah.
We gotta talk
Yeah,
with Subway
exactly.
Surfers. Oh my God, this segment, I gotta put some Subway Surfers in the background.
Okay.
In the spirit of Gen Z, we're gonna talk about some wild shit that has
With
been said to
Subway
this
Surfers in the background.
yeah.
Yes.
So y'all can pay attention and yeah. Honestly, the reality is though, like, yeah, one of my buddies who's older than me, the other day was just like, yeah, they had like Minecraft parkour, and it was like it was an AI voice of like Goku explaining like how to work on cars, and it just hit home for him, and
he actually absorbed that information.
Yeah, exactly. He learned,
Wow.
and so it
So no
started
judgment,
it started
I
with the
guess.
young generations, and the reality is it works on us.
Yeah, I mean, we all have like phone sponsored ADHD at this point.
Yep.
So I think corporate jargon has like infiltrated all workplaces, even non-corporate ones.
It's super fun.
It's great.
Yeah.
Everyone's circling back.
Yeah. Everybody wants to say per my last email.
Yeah. What's funny is like in doing this, like so many of the corporate translations are almost like a little bit more mean.
Yeah.
Than just like the unhinged one.
Yeah, because
like
they're
really
super
stings.
condescending.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So condescending.
Yeah, the tone is brutal. What's funny is I recently had an experience with someone that like they really like corporate speak. They want everything to be done in text so that there is like a text document. This was with my PG&E bill.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I agree.
Uh-huh.
I have a doc that I wanted to go over, but in person.
Right.
I have it all in writing.
Yeah.
I sent it to you already.
Yeah. But that was too, they're like, you could take what I say out of context or something.
Yeah, or just they want it all in writing.
Yeah, they want a paper trail.
They met someone that wanted that too.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? Oh. Just like, no, I will show up with documents and proof.
Right.
Because I like writing too.
Yeah.
I can play your game. Probably a little bit better than you.
Yeah, exactly. No, that is incredibly satisfying when some person tries to insert this like, oh, I really feel better, and it's like, boom.
Yeah.
There.
I did it.
Did it.
Yeah, already done.
You just didn't open the attachment.
Yeah, exactly.
That you would have seen.
Yes.
Okay. So we have some based on real experiences, but depersonalized for to protect everyone's anonymity. Anonymity. Anonymity.
Yep.
We have some situations where we have wanted to send a particular email, but that wouldn't necessarily pass the vibe check. So we have translated it into corporate appropriate speak.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You want to start?
Sure. I'll start. So I'll read the first text, and then you'll translate it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is a fresh one. So this is hot off the presses. Oh, my bad. When you said on March 15th, see email below at 4:33 p.m. to hold off on this project until further notice, I thought that you actually meant it. Could you give me a heads up next time you feel like calling an impromptu opposite day? How can I say this and not get fired?
Yeah. This is the corporate speak translation.
Okay.
Appreciate the clarification. I was operating under the assumption that hold off until further notice, as stated in your March 15th email at 4:33 p.m. See below, meant exactly that. In the future, a quick heads up when we're implementing surprise strategy reversals would be super helpful for alignment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Surprise strategy reversals.
Yes.
I'm going to use that one.
Yeah.
All right, you want to do the next one?
Okay. Beth, I know you're really excited about the buzzword phrase of the week. You soaked up like a disgusting little mildewy sponge from that guest speaker last week, but it's just making you look shallow and desperate.
Ouch. Beth, I appreciate your commitment to keeping our language on trend. That said, leaning too hard on a borrowed phrase risks turning it into background noise. A more intentional application, perhaps beyond Slack threads and stand-up meetings, might ensure it delivers real strategic value. Jeffrey, back on the bath salts, I see. You'll find the answer to your insanely beta question in the reminder email for this meeting. The agenda doc linked within it, and of course, in the screen share currently displayed. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I need to start that. I'm just going to start. Let's start. Top.
Yep.
Jeffrey, back on the bath salts, I see. You'll find the answer to your insanely beta question in the reminder email for this meeting, the agenda doc linked in the reminder email, and even, you guessed it, in the screen share right in front of your fucking face.
Jeffrey, it seems we're revisiting some familiar ground here. The answer to your question can be found in the reminder email, the agenda doc linked within it, and of course in the screen share currently displayed. Let's make sure we're fully leveraging the resources already provided before circling back.
Absolutely. Gotta circle back.
Okay. Gary. You've explained what an encrypted file is, unprompted, about 5 times now. We all knew what it was before you started this little TED Talk series. But do you understand what it is, Gary? Do you understand? Are you explaining for us or for you?
Gary, we've now covered the concept of encrypted files roughly 5 times, unsolicited. While we all appreciate your thoroughness, I think we've grasped the basics. The real question is, Gary, do you fully understand what this means in the context of our current work? See, that's like meaner than the first one, honestly.
Yeah.
All right.
You should do this next one so I can
do the next one. Okay. You are a joke of a human. I've hated every second of this interaction. I'm out.
Deuces. It's clear this interaction hasn't been the most productive, and I can certainly respect your decision to step away. Wishing you the best moving forward.
All right.
All right. So this is the we're gonna do a topical one. This one's for J-Dubs, our VP, and what I would want to say to him, and then translated by Aila into corporate speak. This is from me. This is what I would say to JD Vance.
Okay.
Okay. Very heavily satirical. Yo, J-Dubs, what the fuck? You made a group chat on Signal without me? You left me out? No, but seriously, what's the deal with this reporter you put in there? He's totally lame. He's such a buzzkill, and he's totally gonna tell on us for planning war crimes. You are a walking, talking, It's Always Sunny character holding the second highest office in the country with the biggest guns, and you made a group chat with your buddies to talk about war crimes, and you put a fucking reporter in there. What the fuck? Corporate speak, please.
Great.
It did all of it. So it's really dumb.
Yeah, I see there's some specifics here.
Yep.
I'm writing to formally address a significant lapse in communication protocol and information security practices recently observed. It has come to my attention that a group communication channel was established via Signal without including all relevant stakeholders, myself among them, which resulted in my exclusion from critical discussions about war crimes.
J-Dubs. The hell?
J-Dubs, why? More critically, it appears a journalist was inadvertently added to this private group communication, raising serious concerns regarding the confidentiality and integrity of the sensitive information about war crimes discussed within this forum. Given the sensitive nature of our operations and the high-profile positions involved, such an oversight poses considerable risks, potentially leading to unauthorized disclosures or misrepresentation of confidential strategic discussions. Strongly recommend an immediate internal review of our communications protocols and security measures to prevent future occurrences and mitigate potential reputational and operational risks. Your prompt attention to this matter is essential and greatly appreciated. Peace and love, warm regards. That's that could be something that you're just sending to someone for accidentally sending too many gifts.
Yeah.
In a Slack channel. Instead, it's to the vice president of this country. JD, just go to Greenland. Get the fuck out. Why don't you just
fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
You know that video where he says, "Get the fuck out of here"? He moves his hand around the dog's mouth. Get the fuck out of here. We should just do that to JD, man. Just get the fuck
out of here. Exactly. All right.
Okay.
So
what did we learn today?
Yeah, what are our boy lessons?
Boy lessons.
I think up top, just kind of general one, no signal chats for war crimes.
Yeah.
Maybe no war crimes, period, but no signal chats.
A certain degree of transparency with things. Like if you're okay, this came from the boy hour, is it boy hour discussion. It's like if you're having discussions in your group chat that are so shameful that if they were spread out, you would you would be a laughing stock of the entire world. Maybe don't do it.
Maybe don't do it.
Yeah.
No, that's a great lesson. Be ready to have accountability for your work, because that is what's most important at the end of the day. Job security is an illusion. Everything that you're doing at work should be something that you're ready to proudly defend and take with you when you're applying for another job.
Yeah,
so be ready to stand behind it.
The piece that we didn't talk about this time, but we did last time, was the questioning things and asking why.
Exactly.
And that being taken as criticism.
Right.
So let's just throw that in there as a boy lesson.
Let's throw that in there as a boy lesson. Yeah.
If someone asks you why you are doing something, answer the question and don't just answer.
Don't just be defensive and assume that they're critiquing what you're doing.
Yeah. Sometimes they just want to know why.
Sometimes they want to help you be better.
Yeah, exactly. If they want to collaborate with you on the thing that you're doing. Maybe they don't necessarily want to just say, stop doing that.
Right.
Maybe they want to improve on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're just making an assumption that they are mad at you for doing what you're doing or something like that. And that is the sign of a fragile little ego.
Exactly. And no room for fragile little egos in boy hour.
No.
Or in this cutthroat capitalist world.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of room for them in capitalism. Anyways.
Yeah.
I think those are some good boy lessons. Communication, be direct.
Answer emails.
Don't text.
Don't text your supervisor or boss at 8, after 6 p.m. It's not okay.
Yeah.
And before working hours is not okay either.
Yeah. There's this incredible function where you can schedule emails.
Yeah.
And communication.
Yeah.
I like to do this just because it makes it look like I'm up bright and early. I schedule all my emails for 7:15 a.m.
Yeah. And what's nice about emails is they don't fucking ding your phone.
Fucking And they're not a Signal chat.
Yeah.
That's the other nice thing about them.
Yeah, they're not encrypted.
Hey, remember when we as a society freaked out that Hillary Clinton deleted some emails
Yeah.
from like 10 years before?
Yeah. And now our vice president is having a group chat about bombing people in an encrypted group chat.
Where he's just
service.
accidentally, he's not checking the attendee list.
All right, we got to wrap this up.
That's been our work episode.
Yeah.
This is Boy Hour.
This is Boy Hour.
We'll see you next time.